Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jemmy. I want to start off by saying my bun turned out so nice today. I was having a bad hair day, and typically when I do have a bad hair day, I just throw it in a bun and call it a day, and it looks like a hot mess. But today my bun actually looks decent, and I kind of just wanted to brag a little bit about it. Anyways, moving on, for today's video, I'm going to let you guys know some of my most anticipated books that are coming out in 2026. And ironically, it just so happens that I have 26 books on this list. It was not planned. It was not something that I thought was going to happen. I literally just looked at a list of books that were coming out, and it just so happens that 26 books were the exact amount that I ended up finding that I want to get this year. But I do have all the books on a list on Goodreads that I am going to be referencing throughout this video, so I will be looking at my phone from time to time because I don't remember every name, author, and the dates that the books are coming out, so I need it as reference. As well, I am going to go by month basis of when these books are coming out because that is how I organize the list. And I'm also going to leave a link to all the books I'm talking about in the description to their Goodreads page. So if you are interested in any of these books, you guys can check it out yourself because I am going to give you guys a brief synopsis of the books because if I go through all the synopsis, this video will be way too long. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's start with January. So the first book on this list is The Books of Blood and Roses. This book is by Anne Summerlee, and the anticipated release date for this book is January 13th. This book is a sapphic paranormal romance, which right off the bat, chef's kiss. And it is following a girl who is a vampire hunter attending a vampire school because she wants to uncover and learn more about this mysterious book called The Book of Blood and Roses. But it also just so happens that her roommate is a beautiful vampire, and now she has to navigate the school, try not to reveal herself, and try not to fall in love with her vampire roommate. That right there just sounds so great. This is a first book in a series. I don't know how long the series is going to be, but it just sounds right up my alley and I want to get more into paranormal romance. The second book that's coming out in January is called A Barista's Guide to Love and Larceny, and this book is by Carolyn Bonin, and as well as this book is anticipated to come out on January 13th. And this one is a cozy fantasy romance following a girl named Danny. She is a hard worker. She is currently working at her local cafe while attending her dream university. But she has a secret. She has this secret ability that she's trying to hide because she doesn't want other people to use her like her parents. But she runs into a professor who knows about her abilities, and he introduces her to a new kind of test, soon to be product that he wants her to test trial. She's uncertain if she wants to participate in it, but if she does, it does help out a new friend that she met that she's kind of interested in. Sounds cute, sounds fun, and the cover just makes it so cozy, and I love romance stories, and this seems very cute. The third book that's coming out in January that I'm excited for is called The Redo List by Denise Williams, and this book is anticipated to come out on January 27th. This book follows a girl named Willow. She experienced all of her big firsts with her high school sweetheart who publicly breaks up with her, and reeling from that, she decides to help out her brother by dog sitting, and her brother also asks his best friend to watch over her. While Willow and her brother's best friend are getting to know each other, Willow decided that she wants to have her big redos of all of her first, and her brother best friend decides to help out. This sounds so cute and so adorable. I feel like this would be a great pickup if you need a pick-me-up or something fun to read. I feel like that's what this book gives vibes of. I could be wrong because I haven't read it, but it just gives that kind of vibe to me. Hopefully it's just as cute as it sounds, and I hope I enjoy it if I do read it. So those are all the books I'm excited for in January. Let's move on to books I'm excited for in February. The first book in February that I'm excited for is this one. I know I'm going to mispronounce it, so I'm not going to even try, but it is by Melissa de la Cruz, and the anticipated release date for this book is February 3rd. And this book follows 3 teenagers who decided to infiltrate a magical Ivy League school that they all want to attend, but were denied. So they sneak in and work there. While they're working there, they secretly attend classes, but they start to discover dark secrets about the school that they shouldn't, and now they have to deal with all that information. Sounds like fun, sounds like a riot, sounds like a bunch of teenagers doing things they're not supposed to, and it just seems like an adventure I am looking forward to. Then the second book on this list for February is Books and Bewitchment by Isla Jewell, and this book also is anticipated to come out on February 3rd. And this book follows a girl who is living a mundane life. She's going through her everyday life trying to support herself and support her sister, but then her grandmother dies and she inherits a magical estate from her grandmother, and she doesn't really know much going on, and she meets a handyman who just so happens to be the grandson of her grandmother's rival, and things kind of go from there. I don't know. Sounds cute. Sounds fun. Same thing as the previous other romance book that I have on this list. It just sounds right up my alley. It just seems like a enemies to lover type stories, and I love those. And just a family of rivals. I don't know. It just seems like something I would enjoy. Not many books in February, so moving on to books in March. The first book I have on this list for March is Accidentally Wedded to a Werewolf by Isabel Taylor. This is the first book in a series, and the anticipated release date is March 17th. Already from the title, I was just like, ooh, this sounds super cute. And it turns out that this girl is actually engaged to someone else, but on a spur of the night, she accidentally marries a werewolf, and now she has to deal with that. And it just sounds super cute, super fun, and I believe this one's also enemies to lovers as well, because the guy who runs the inn is like a grumpy guy, and she seems like a go happy lucky type girl, and I feel like those two will clash. And it just so happens, like, of course something goes down and they end up getting, it just sounds so cute. So I believe that is the only book that I have in March that I'm excited for. Moving on to April. And the first book on this list is, of course, King of Gluttony. This is by Anne Huang, and anticipated release date is April 28th. And I believe this is the 6th book in the Kings of Sin series. I really need to get started on that series. I have the first 5, I believe, so I want to get this book to complete my series because I have pretty much the series. I haven't started it. I should, but I haven't. But I have the books, so there's that. I'm not going to give you guys a synopsis since it is the 6th book in the series, so yeah. The next book I have on this list is called Cherry Baby by Rainbow Rowell. Anticipated release date is April 14th. Now, I love Rainbow Rowell. I love the books that she writes. This one, I'm not sure how I feel about this one because of the synopsis, but it follows this lady who is married to this guy who is off always traveling because he is a comic writer, I believe, and she ends up meeting this other guy, and I don't know, it doesn't sound up my alley, but I like Rainbow Rowell, so I want to see if this is something I might like, because I love almost all the books that Rainbow Rowell has written. I feel like I might not like this one, but we will see. We will see, because I feel like this, it just, the way the synopsis is written, it sounds like cheating to me, but who knows? Because you got to read the story to know. So we will see. We will see. The third book in March that I'm excited for is called While You Are Seething. I think that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, by Charlotte Stein. And this book is also anticipated to come out on April 14th. So this book follows a girl who absolutely loathes this romance author, but they have to go on a road trip together because the guy has to fix his image, and somehow she ends up being mistaken as the girl he's been writing about in his acknowledgement, which he doesn't have a girl. He's just faking it. But now they both have to fake it. And things might not be as it seems as they travel along the road while doing this guy's tour. Again, enemies to lovers? Sounds fantastic. On a road trip in a confined space? Sounds like it's a book for me. So those are all the books in April. Moving on to May. So the first book I'm excited for that's coming out in May is The Last Pages by Katie Holt. This book follows a girl who works at a bookshop called The Last Page. She's lived her whole life there. She experienced all of her firsts there. She experienced getting her first date, being dumped in these different sections of the bookstore. And unfortunately, the owner of the bookstore had passed, and he gave the bookstore to his, I think, grandson or son. And the guy takes it over, and she doesn't like him because she thought she was going to get the store once the owner passes, and those two have to try to get along with each other, and they realize that the store is not doing so well, so the both of them have to come together and try to save the bookstore. A bookstore setting, a cute romance, enemies to lovers, just everything I would love. Everything. That sounds so great. So that's the only book that's coming out in May that I'm excited for. Moving on to June. The first book is Under the Oak Tree Volume 3 by Suji Kim. This book is anticipated to come out on June 23rd. I have the first two volumes. This is the third in the series. I think this might be the last. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not even sure if this series is complete, but this series was originally on one of those webtoon apps called Mantra, I want to say. So there is a book version and a comic version, which I love the book cover versions. They're so pretty with the sprayed edges. And I did start the first book. I did start it, and I recently bought the second one. But I need to get on with that series. I need to finish the first book and continue on. But yes. So, there's that. The second book I'm excited for in May is called Checking You Out by Jennifer Chen, also anticipated to release on June 23rd. So this book follows a girl who loves to read, and she is an avid book nerd. She loves going to the library, and it turns out that there is a guy who is checking out the same books that she loves and that are her favorites, and they are writing little cute notes to each other, I believe, and she ends up starting to develop a crush on this guy. She ends up working and volunteering at a nursery for kittens, and she runs into a jock who seems like he doesn't like reading, and he is your typical jock, but he is saying all the same quotes from the books that she loves and are her favorites, and she starts to suspect, is this the guy that is her book crush? Sounds cute, sounds fun. I love little like passing notes type stories, like those little love letters or just talking to each other through notes. It's so cute. I love it. I love those kind of stories. I feel like those turn out to be some of the cutest romance that I read. The next book that I'm excited for in June is A Prince Among Pirates, and this book is anticipated to come out on June 16th, and this one follows a guy who accidentally ends up on a pirate boat because he is trying to run away from an arranged marriage that he is not excited for, and he is too scared to tell these pirates that he is on the wrong ship, and so he goes with them and experiences all these adventures with these pirates, and he starts to develop feelings for one of the guys, but secrets of his past and the other guy's past are coming up, and they have to deal with it. Sounds like fun. Pirates. It sounds like a fun adventure, okay? That was all of June's books I'm excited for. Let's move on to July. So in July, I have a few books that I'm excited for. The first one is called How to Get the Girl by Kayla Maria, and this book is anticipated to come out on July 6th. And this one is also another enemies to lover. The main girl doesn't really like the main guy because the main guy is a big playboy who broke her best friend's heart, but then they end up having to get together because Lacey needs help with her studies. She's failing because she's too busy daydreaming, while the guy, Rylan, is bad with romance and he needs help in that department, so they decided to help each other. I love that this is a flip-flop dynamic because every book that I've read is always the guy helping the girl out, but this time it's flip-flop. It's the girl helping the guy out. So that's cute. Sorry if my camera angle is different. My camera battery died, so I needed to put in a new battery. Continuing on with this list, because clearly I've been filming for way too long and I'm only in July, so I need to pick this up because this is my only other battery, and if this one dies, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give more briefer synopsis, I guess. Let's see, where are we at? So the second book in July that I'm excited for is In Stormy Weather, and this book is by Chelsea Cruto, and it is anticipated to come out on July 16th. And this book follows two people that also are enemies to lovers, and they are in the world of, what is it called? It deals with storms, meteorology. There you go. And the girl, she's on top of her field, and this other guy who's her rival comes back because he's doing a story, and now they have to work together and things go from there. Super excited, super cute, and definitely something different. Something not in the genre or like area that I am familiar with, like meteorology. Sounds interesting. I know I'm going through this pretty fast because, like I said, I don't want my battery to die. And also, it's almost 1 o'clock. My husband has a doctor's appointment at 2, so I need to finish this up because I'm going to go with him. So I do apologize if the ending of this seems a little rushed, but yeah. The next book that's coming out in July is called The Final Score by Lana Ferguson, and the anticipated release date for this book is July 7th. This book follows a hockey player who got injured, and he finally gets to go back onto the ice and re-injures his injury, and this injury could cause him to not be able to play anymore. So down in the dumps, he decided that he was going to help out another hockey friend with his little sister, as because that little sister is going through some stuff and she needs a place to stay. So she ends up staying with this hockey guy, and they kind of have a little fling together. So there's that. It's gonna be messy. It sounds messy because sister of another player sounds kind of messy. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. One more book in July, and that is called Sinister by Veronica Lancet, and this book is anticipated to come out on July 21st. This story follows rich high society, and the girl that's in the story is considered an outsider because she doesn't really fit in high society and wealth, and so she kind of stands in the background. But then one drunken night, she gets involved with Sin, the golden boy of the whole city, and they decided to kind of have a little fake relationship together, I think, and kind of go from there. I think that's what this one is, or something happens, but she ends up getting intertwined with this guy, Sin, and it turns out that he is not as great as everyone says he is. So yeah, that's all I could get into, because like I said, I don't really want to get into much. So yeah, like I said, everything is going to be in the description if you guys want more more in-depth synopsis. All right, now moving on into August. The first book in August is called The Phone Swap by Leah Lewis, and this book is anticipated to come out on August 25th. So this book follows a scientist who is flying home after her research is done, and now she's trying to figure out what she wants to do in her next life, and she just so happens to sit next to a famous actor who wants to just go home. He doesn't want to do anything. He wants normalcy since his life has been so chaotic, and they accidentally swap phones with each other and things go from there. I'm hoping that the way the synopsis of this, it sounds like multiple people swapped phones on this flight, but I don't know. It might seem that way, or maybe just those two swapped phones. I don't know. Either way, it sounds kind of fun. It sounds kind of interesting. We will see. Because the actor in the story is filming another movie in a desolate, isolated area. So, like, there's no way to get to him. So this just sounds kind of fun. It sounds like a chaotic time, so we will see if it is. The next book coming out in August is called Embrace by Bal Cabra. I think that's how you pronounce the author's name. And the anticipated release date is August 4th. And this book follows a hockey player who needs help with his education. He is about to go into the NHL, but he hasn't gotten his degree, and he had promised his late dad that he will get his degree. So he decided to join a study group to help him get to his degree, and the person who is running the study group just so happens to be the daughter of his coach, and things kind of go from there. Sounds like a little forbidden romance type thing. We will see how that goes. I'm excited. I love hockey. As you can tell, I have quite a few hockey romance on this list. I like hockey, so yeah. And then the next book that's coming out in August that I am excited for is called The Iron Hex by Veronica S. Walsh. And this book is anticipated to come out on August 4th. This is the first book in a series. I don't know how long the series is, but this follows a girl who can't remember her past at all. She's just living her life, just doing what she could do, and she runs into this guy who seems to know more about her past than she truly knows. And she doesn't really want to go with him, but she is kind of forced to go with him due to a certain situation that is now having her hunted. And so now she has to go with this guy, as she doesn't know if she wants to recover her memories, but she might have to recover her memories, because if she doesn't, she might be in danger. But if recovering her memories might put her in more danger. Again, sounds chaotic. Sounds like an adventure. Sounds fun. Kind of excited to see what's going on. The next book in August that I'm excited for is called The Dark in Her Veins by M.K. Lobb, and this book is anticipated to come out on August 25th. And I'm actually going to read you the synopsis, because the synopsis of this is actually very short. It literally says, from a critically acclaimed UK best-selling author, M.K. Lobb comes a Nordic romantic fantasy set in a world in which sin is a fatal disease, and the rich hire the poor to carry out their basest instincts until the forbidden romance between a sinner and a mysterious figure threatens to destroy everything. I mean, forbidden, sounds great. From that synopsis, like, why not? And the cover, it looks nice. It looks nice. Then the last book that's coming out in August that I'm excited for is called Stillborn by Taylor J. LaRue. I think is how you pronounce it. And this is the first in a series as well. And this one follows a girl who is nicknamed the Crimson Dagger, and she is notorious for her thievery, and she steals in order to help pay her debts. But something happens that causes her to be in more debt, and there is this other guy who is dying, and he might need her help to steal something that can help cure his illness, and they have to go to the ends of the earth to try to find this solution. And yeah, again, sounds chaotic, sounds like an adventure, and it just seems so fun. Okay, moving on to September. There was actually not a lot of books I was excited for in September. A lot of the books on the September list was actually sequels to other series that I have not started or know about. So I couldn't really add those to my list because they're the second book in a series, or third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth book. There was a lot of series that are coming, like sequels that are coming out in September. So don't have any in September. Therefore, moving on to October. And there's only one book in October I'm excited for, and it's called Winter's Teeth by R.A. Blitzer. And the anticipated release date is October 6th. And this book follows a girl who finds a frozen dead corpse in the middle of, I think, a river, a lake. And suddenly that dead corpse wakes up and runs off, and she's like, what the hell? And then her sister goes missing. She finds this guy, and she's like, hey, you need to help me find my sister. And he's like, well, I will help you on one condition. Don't go in that forest. And she said, no, I'm going in that forest, and you're going to follow with me. So that's pretty much the synopsis. At least that's what I get from it. My way of seeing it. And it just sounds like fun. It just sounds like this girl's like, no, you're following me. You're coming with me. And he's like, oh, fine. That's what it sounds like to me. And I don't know. It just seems like something I would enjoy and something I would like. Now, moving on to November. I think I only have one book also in November that I am excited for, and it's called Blood of Silver, and it's by Ali. I pronounce it as Wing, but some people pronounce it as Huyn. She is a Vietnamese author. I'm Vietnamese, so mainly I really want to support Vietnamese authors. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, cool, why not? And the description, literally the first portion of the description is a rich, darkly whimsical fantasy with a touch of horror and a slow burning romance. That right there just sold it for me, because I was like, horror? Romance? Dark? Sounds great. And a Vietnamese author? Why not? But it has to deal with a girl whose mom had passed and she had buried her mom, and then this strange boy suddenly shows up and starts telling her secrets about her mom's past and wanting her to follow him. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the only book that's coming out in November that I'm kind of excited for. And lastly, our last month, December, I only have 2 books that I'm excited for. And the first one is called Lightning and Thunder by Sarah Roshi. And the anticipated release date for this book is December 29th. And this book, where's the synopsis? Well, there was a synopsis, and now there is no synopsis. I don't know what happened. Where is the synopsis of this book? I literally read the synopsis of this book. But I guess it's not. But it deals with mythology. Zeus, the descendant of Zeus, he ends up having to take over this council originally that was supposed to be taken over by his brother. His brother has gone missing, so now he has to take over, but he is kind of like a villain. He doesn't really like this council, so he wants to take it down from within, but he ends up having to be trained by his best friend's brother, and they start to kind of develop this relationship. And so the guy decided that maybe he should be a good guy and not a villain, and then he discovers that maybe the council is not as it seems and that they're actually not good. At least that's what I remember that synopsis to be. I could be wrong, but for some odd reason the synopsis of this book, I don't know if you can see it, is just gone. So there's that. And then the last book, the 26th book on this list that I'm excited for and cannot wait to read, is called The House of Burning Frost by Olivia Wildenstein. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it is anticipated to come out on December 8th. And this book is the 4th book in a series, but you could actually read this as a standalone. So I'm going to do that because I looked at the other synopsis of the other books and they are not as intriguing, at least from the quick brief that I've read. But this one sounds like something I would like and is right up my alley. This girl ends up having to have a fake marriage with this king because they both have a common enemy together, and it might turn out to be more than what it is. Like the synopsis, like the little brief up here, I love it. It's like a fake an engagement to the Ice King to trap an enemy, end the sham betrothal once the foe is caught. What could possibly go wrong? And that just sounds like everything is going to go wrong. They, are going to have things that they're not going to expect. So, yeah. So, those are all the books that I'm excited for that are coming out in 2026. Let me know down in the comments below what are some of the books you're excited for that is coming out in 2026. So, maybe I could potentially add some new books on there as well. And also let me know, did any of the books that I mentioned in this video that you didn't know about that was not on your list is now on your list in the comments. And with that, I'm going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, feel free to hit that like button. And if you guys want to see more content from me in the future, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!